The great hall of the Galactic Council was filled with noise. Dozens of alien species sat in a circle, their voices rising in fear and anger. In the center of the room, a glowing screen showed a simple image: red powder falling from a human hand onto food. "Stop the video!" one tall, blue-skinned alien shouted. The image froze. "That's substance," another said, his voice shaking. "Burned through my assistant's breathing system in seconds." A smaller insect-like creature clicked loudly. "It is not food. It is a weapon." The word spread across the room like fire. Weapon. Chemical weapon. Mass destruction. The screen changed again. This time it showed humans smiling, laughing, eating the same red powder without any pain. The council fell silent. "How do they survive it?" someone whispered. At the edge of the hall, a human stood alone. Ambassador Daniel Reyes watched everything quietly. He had tried to speak many times, but no one listened. "It's just spice," he finally said, raising his voice. All eyes turned to him. "It's called chili. We use it in cooking. It's normal for us." "Normal?" A large armored alien slammed his fist. "It melts internal tissue." Reyes shook his head. "Not for humans. Our bodies are used to it." More videos played: black pepper, garlic paste, mustard seeds. Each one caused panic in the room. Reports appeared: skin irritation, internal damage, loss of control, fear response. "This is not trade material," the council leader said coldly. "This is a biological threat." Reyes stepped forward. "You're misunderstanding. It's culture. It's food. You can learn." "Enough!" the leader shouted. The hall went dark for a moment. Then a final decision appeared in bright red light. Galactic law. Human spices are now banned, classified as chemical weapons of mass destruction. A heavy silence filled the room. Reyes stood frozen. "This is a mistake," he said softly. But no one replied. Far away, hidden in the shadows of a private chamber, another figure watched the meeting. A warlord, feared across many systems. He leaned closer to the screen, replaying the moment where a human calmly ate the burning spice. His eyes narrowed with interest. "Fascinating," he whispered. He turned to his assistant. "Get me a sample of this chili." The assistant hesitated. "But my lord, it is banned." The warlord smiled slowly. "That is exactly why I want it." The screen went dark, and somewhere in the galaxy, a small packet of human spice began its journey into the hands of someone who might change everything. The ban spread across the galaxy like a storm. Ships were stopped. Cargo was scanned. Even the smallest grain of human spice was treated like a deadly weapon. Trade routes with Earth became silent. Markets that once sold human food were now empty. On Earth, farmers watched their crops dry under the sun. Chili fields, once full of life, were now useless. Workers lost their jobs. No one in the galaxy wanted human spices anymore. But not everyone followed the rules. Far from the busy trade lanes, a dark warship floated near an asteroid belt. Inside, the warlord waited. A small metal container was placed in front of him. His assistant stepped back nervously. "My lord, this is the sample. Human chili powder." The warlord opened the container slowly. A sharp smell filled the room. The assistant coughed and fell to his knees. "It burns. I cannot breathe." But the warlord did not move back. Instead, he leaned closer. His eyes watered, but he smiled. "Interesting," he said. He called in a prisoner, a captured alien from a weaker species. "Feed him a small amount," the warlord ordered. The guards hesitated, then obeyed. The prisoner screamed as soon as the spice touched his tongue. His body shook. His skin changed color. For a moment, it looked like he would die. Then suddenly he stopped. His breathing slowed. His eyes opened wide. I feel strong," the prisoner whispered. The warlord leaned forward. "Again," he ordered. They gave another small amount. This time the prisoner did not scream. He stood up. Faster. Stronger. More alert. The warlord's smile grew wider. "It does not only harm," he said softly. "It changes them." Meanwhile, far from the warlord's ship, a human cargo pilot named Armin floated quietly in space. His ship looked empty on scanners. Officially, he was transporting metal parts. But hidden behind a false wall were small packets of spices. Chili, pepper, garlic, all banned. Armin wiped sweat from his face. "This is crazy," he muttered. "I could get destroyed for this." But then he looked at a message on his screen. "Private buyer. High payment. No questions." Armin took a deep breath. "Just one delivery," he said. He changed course, heading toward an unknown location. Back on the warlord's ship, the assistant spoke again, still weak. "My lord, this is dangerous. The council will act if they find out." The warlord stood up slowly. "Let them try," he said. He looked at the remaining spice. "With this, I can build an army they cannot stop." In the dark silence of space, two paths were now moving toward each other. A human smuggler and a warlord with a dangerous plan. Neither knew how big this would become, but the galaxy was about to change. The secret did not stay hidden for long. Strange reports began to spread across the galaxy. Small pirate groups were winning battles they should have lost. Weak species were suddenly faster, stronger, and harder to defeat. The Galactic Council grew uneasy. "This is not normal," the council leader said. "Something has changed." A new report appeared on the screen. It showed a battlefield. Smoke, broken ships, and defeated soldiers. In the center stood a group of warriors, breathing hard, but still standing strong. One detail shocked everyone. They were holding small packets marked with human symbols. "Spices," someone whispered. The room fell silent again. "Impossible," another said. "Those are banned." But the truth was clear. Somehow, human spices were back. Far away, Armin's ship moved quickly through a narrow asteroid field. His hands were tight on the controls. Behind him, 3 council enforcement ships followed. "Stop your vessel immediately," a voice echoed through his ship. Armin shook his head. "Not happening." He pushed the engine harder. His ship twisted between rocks, barely missing sharp edges. One wrong move and he would be gone. A warning alarm screamed. "Missile lock detected." "Great," Armin muttered. He quickly released a box of metal cargo. It exploded into hundreds of pieces, confusing the tracking system. The missile lost its target and crashed into an asteroid. "Nice try," he said under his breath. But the chase was not over. Meanwhile, on the warlord's ship, the testing had become more serious. Dozens of soldiers stood in a training hall. Each one had taken small doses of spice. "Begin," the warlord ordered. The fight started. Fast, violent, different. The soldiers moved with sharp focus. Their reactions were quicker. Their strength had increased. Even their fear was gone. The warlord watched carefully. "This is more than a weapon," he said. "This is evolution." One of his commanders stepped forward. "My lord, other factions are asking questions. They want to know how we are winning." The warlord smiled. "Let them wonder," he said. Back in the council chamber, panic was rising. "We must act now," the leader said, "before this spreads." A final order was given across all systems. All human spice trade is now punishable by immediate destruction. No warnings, no trials. The message reached every ship, including Armin's. He looked at the screen, his face turning serious. "So now it's war," he said quietly. In the dark space ahead, more ships appeared, blocking his path. And far behind him, the council ships were getting closer. Armin was trapped. At the same time, the warlord stood before his growing army. "Prepare for expansion," he said. Two forces were rising, one trying to stop the spread, the other ready to use it. The first real conflict had begun, and there was no turning back. Armin's ship shook as warning alarms filled the air. 3 council ships behind him, 2 more in front. No escape. He took a slow breath and looked at the hidden cargo behind him. "Spices. You got me into this," he said quietly. Then his eyes changed. "Maybe you'll get me out too." He turned on the communication channel. "This is cargo pilot Armin. I request to speak before you destroy me." There was silence. Then a cold voice replied, "You have 10 seconds. Armin smiled slightly. "Good enough." He quickly loaded a small canister into the launch tube. But it was not a weapon. It was powdered chili. The front ships moved closer, preparing to fire. 3 seconds, the voice said. Armin pressed the button. The canister shot forward and burst into a red cloud in space, spreading into the path of the ships. "What is that?" one pilot asked. Inside the ships, the ventilation systems pulled in the fine particles. Seconds later, chaos. Pilots started coughing. Some screamed. Others lost control of their systems. "It burns. Shut it off." One voice yelled before cutting out. The ships drifted off course. Armin didn't wait. He pushed full speed and flew straight through the confusion. Behind him, even the chasing ships slowed down, trying to avoid the red cloud. Armin escaped. His heart was racing. "That actually worked," he said, almost laughing. Far away, on another planet, something else was happening. A human chef named Lila stood inside a small underground kitchen. Around her were aliens from different species, all watching her with fear. On the table were small dishes, food mixed with tiny amounts of spice. "I promise," Lila said softly. "Just a little. It won't hurt you." One alien stepped forward. His hands were shaking. He took a small bite. Everyone watched. He froze. His eyes widened. Then he took another bite. "It's warm," he said slowly. "But not bad." Another alien tried. Then another. Some coughed. Some panicked. But others stayed. Curious. Lila smiled. "Your body can learn. You just need time." Word began to spread. Not all spices were deadly. Not all humans were dangerous. Back in space, the Warlord received new reports. "Humans are teaching others," his assistant said. "They are spreading spice use slowly." The Warlord leaned back. "Smart," he said. "They are not fighting with weapons. They are changing minds." Meanwhile, the Galactic Council grew more desperate. "They are turning this into culture," one leader said. "Then we stop the culture," another replied. A new order was prepared. More strict, more dangerous. Back in her kitchen, Lila received a hidden message. Her face became serious. "They are coming," she whispered. Above the planet, dark ships entered orbit. The Council had found them, and this time, they were not coming to warn anyone. The sky above Lila's hidden kitchen turned dark. Massive Council ships blocked the stars. Their cold metal bodies hovered in silence. No warnings came this time, only action. Inside the underground room, fear spread quickly. "They found us," one alien whispered. Lila stayed calm, but her hands were tight. "Everyone stay quiet. Do not panic." A loud echoed from above. "This area is under violation of galactic law. Surrender immediately." Some aliens stepped back, ready to run. But one of them, the same one who first tasted the spice, stepped forward. "No," he said. "We are not doing anything wrong." Before anyone could stop him, he moved toward the exit. Lila tried to stop him. "Wait!" Too late. He walked out into the open. Bright lights locked onto him instantly. "Identify yourself," a mechanical voice demanded. The alien stood tall. "I am a citizen of this system, and I choose to eat human food." There was a pause. Then, a blast hit the ground near him. Not to kill, to warn. Inside the Council ship, something unexpected was happening. A senior Council scientist was watching live data from the surface. He looked confused. "Wait! This doesn't make sense," he said. He pulled up old reports, then new ones. Side by side, his eyes widened. "These results, they are different." Another officer turned to him. "Explain." The scientist spoke slowly. "At high doses, yes, spices are harmful to most species. But at controlled levels," he zoomed in on the data, "they increase neural activity, improve response time, boost immune systems." The room went silent. "This is not just a toxin," he said. "It's a biological enhancer." "But that's impossible," the officer replied. "We classified it as a weapon." The scientist shook his head. "We were wrong." Back on the surface, more aliens had stepped outside. They stood together, not hiding anymore. Lila joined them. "We are not your enemy," she said, looking up at the ships. "You just never tried to understand." In orbit, the Council leaders argued. "If this truth spreads, we lose control," one said. "Then we do not let it spread," another replied coldly. Below, the alien who first spoke looked stronger now. His voice was clear. "You feared this because humans are different," he said. "They survive what we cannot." More ships arrived, but not from the Council. The Warlord's fleet. They moved into position, weapons ready. "This ends now." The Warlord's voice echoed across all channels. "The truth belongs to everyone." The galaxy stood at the edge of something huge. Truth or control. And only one could survive. The sky was full of ships. On one side, the Galactic Council fleet, cold, silent, and ready to strike. On the other side, the Warlord's armada, strong, fearless, and waiting. Between them, a small planet. And on that planet, humans and aliens stood together. No one moved. Then the Council leader's voice echoed across space. "All unauthorized spice activity will be erased. This is your final warning." Lila looked up at the sky. "We're done hiding," she said quietly. Next to her, the alien who first tasted spice stepped forward again. "We are not weak anymore," he said. "We are not afraid." In orbit, the Warlord gave a single command. "Shields up. Hold position." His ships formed a protective wall above the planet. The Council did not wait. Bright beams of energy fired from their ships. But the Warlord's fleet blocked them. Explosions lit up the darkness. The battle had begun. Fast, loud, powerful. Ships moved like shadows. Weapons flashed across space. But something was different this time. The Warlord's soldiers, enhanced by spices, fought with perfect timing. No fear, no hesitation. They pushed the Council back. Inside one of the Council ships, the scientist from before stood frozen. "This is not just about food anymore," he whispered. He opened a public broadcast channel. Across the entire galaxy, his voice spread. "The truth has been hidden," he said. "Human spices are not weapons. They are enhancers. We were wrong." Every system heard it. Every species. On the battlefield, the Council forces hesitated. Confusion spread. Some ships stopped firing. Others pulled back. The Council leader shouted in anger, "Ignore it! Continue attack!" But it was too late. Doubt had already won. One by one, Council ships began to retreat. The Warlord did not chase them. He watched silently as they disappeared into deep space. The battle was over. A new silence filled the stars. Days later, the galaxy looked different. Trade routes reopened. But now, human ships were at the center. Spice markets returned bigger than before. Aliens came not with fear, but curiosity. Lila stood in a large open kitchen on a new space station. Different species sat together, sharing meals, laughing, talking, learning. The Warlord walked in, no longer just a conqueror, now an ally. He picked up a small dish. "Still dangerous?" he asked with a slight smile. Lila laughed. "Only if you're not ready." He took a bite, paused, then nodded. "Worth the risk." Above them, a new council was forming, not built on fear, but on understanding. And across the galaxy, one truth became clear. Humans were not feared for their weapons. They were respected for their strength. And the spices once called destruction had become the taste of unity. Thanks for watching. Subscribe my channel. See you in next video.